And this is one thing that I'm going to say because it happens every year. I'm not going to record it because it doesn't need to be on there. Right? So keep that in mind. So don't get too confident. Uh, I've had pre-cal students, applied students take essential, right? Before I got this, right, and didn't do as well as they thought they would, or even that I thought they would. So keep that in mind. Okay. Shania wants to know how much tax she will pay on a new vehicle if she buys a $17,000 vehicle and trades her current vehicle valued at $4,000. Calculate the amount. So calculate means you're gonna have to use some kind of formula. The amount of tax, they were nice enough to put it in bold. The amount of tax she will pay for this new vehicle. We are under new vehicle. You should have a formula that looks something like this, where the new would be the price minus the trade. Is it sticker for you guys? Your formula, does it say sticker? Same thing, sticker price. Do you remember what the sticker is? You should probably have that on your study sheet as well. What is sticker? We talked about that. If there are any options, like an entertainment unit or freight or anything like that, you add that to the sticker. Okay. So sticker minus trade. This is your formula, isn't it? Isn't that your formula? 1.12. But we're gonna say taxes only. That's what I mean with you have to be careful. Taxes only. We're gonna go sticker minus trade times what? 0.12. We're just gonna find the taxes. So here we go. 17,000 minus 4,000 times 0.12. 17,000 minus 4,000 is 13,000. And here we go. 1560. There we go. Taxes only. And I hope you got that. Let me just get my key here. Oh yeah, the key, if you look at my key, it does 13% taxes. Because when this was made, we paid 13% taxes. So I guess this is the updated version. Okay. Time to review this one. Sticker. That's what I mean. I go on off on a tangent quite often. Sticker is what? Base plus options plus, can you help me out? Is it freight? Base options. AC tax? And what else? Is that it? Tire. PDI. Post delivery inspection. But that's it, right? Okay, good. That's why you have a study sheet, so you can help me when I get stuck. Thank you for that. Has it ever been, okay, this is a pattern with the province. Do they always go crazy and do everything? No, but they could do base and AC tax. And then oh, I got to add those together to get my sticker price. Just remember that. Let's keep going. Don't leave these ones blank. Don't leave these blank. Okay? Describe 2 advantages of leasing a car rather than financing a similar new car. Place 1 response per line. What you need to focus on here is this. This is a key word here. And if you're not sure, the front of this booklet has that. Describe means more than just one word. Okay? What's one good thing about leasing compared to financing? Anyone willing to? Yeah. Yes. Lower monthly payments. Anybody know why, if they ever ask you? Think about it this way, you're not paying for the whole car. You're only paying for a portion of it, right? So lower monthly payment, what else? You can't say you always drive a new vehicle. Always drive a new vehicle. You can say that um, it is safer since a new car will have latest safety features. I would also say it is more fuel efficient because if you keep getting a new one, you're going to be having the best fuel efficiency, fuel economy ever. Okay, more fuel efficient. You can try a car before buying it. Yada yada yada. You don't have to worry. It's when the term is over, you can simply return it. What are some downsides of leasing? Disadvantages. Can you drive around as much as you want? There's a mileage restriction, so be mindful of that. Things like that. You may have to pay extra for wear and tear. You can't use it as an asset for a loan, things like that. Oh, can I just say one thing here? I don't know which year this is. I remember the ones saying, why would a business owner want to lease a car? And one of the reasons there, you could list these, but you could also say it's a tax write-off. For businesses, they can actually write off the payment as an expense. So if that ever shows up, you know, okay? Next page, 17, question 17. Top of the page always tells you how many marks that question is altogether. But then each subsequent section within that question will have its marks stated as well. Okay, let's see how we do this one. We're financing the purchase of a new vehicle. So this is financing new vehicle. That's probably worth mentioning. Saved enough money for the down payment. The table below shows the details of the purchase. Calculate the total amount borrowed. How would you do that part? Well, I would say it's definitely the price of the new vehicle plus, wouldn't you add the taxes to it? They're already figured out, right? So that's 3120. And then from this, I'm going to go minus 2000 because that's the trade-in value here. So these are minus, and these two are plus so far. And I'm also going to subtract the down payment. Right, so it's basically just a bunch of adding and subtracting. You should know that the trade-in is taken off, right, from the amount you need to borrow. Obviously, you have to pay the taxes, but then when you have that down payment, you bring down the amount you're going to need to borrow. Okay, what is that? This is 29,120 minus 5,000 basically. So it's 24,120. That's all you had to do there. Next, calculate. Could this have been a bit of a tough cookie? Yes, it could have been. Yeah, right? Like I'm not going to say this one was a walk through the park here. Calculate the total monthly payments paid over the term of the loan. How would you do this one? I think I would, right? 544.39. That's one payment times how many did you make? 48 of them. So they're just saying 544.39 times 48. It's 26,130.72. I basically use these two for this question right here. Calculate the finance charge interest. That's total interest, right? This is the formula you probably have. And this is where I'm going to show you how to use my formulas. Total interest is payments times 12 times years. So this is the danger of using formulas minus your loan. This is the amount borrowed. The loan is how much you borrow, right? These are the total payments. You should add that to your formula sheet or study sheet. This is total payments you've made. Total paid to the bank in a sense. Which we already know. It's 26,130.72 minus the 24,120. That was my loan in A. So all you have to do is subtract these two and you get your interest. 2010, 72. There we go. That's how much interest was paid. Let's say you got A wrong. Let's say you got B wrong. You can still get a mark in C, right? If you just subtract the two numbers that you found upstream. So don't leave anything blank. Give it your best try and look at it. Does it make sense? Okay. Does it make sense? Next question, 18. 2 marks for that one, for this question. Hugo is going to lease a car. That's important. We're in the leasing category of your study sheet. You will pay this much per month after taxes. What does that mean, Mr. Dixon? Does that mean this includes taxes? Yes, that's what they mean. Okay, so don't be adding taxes. Tax included already. So be very careful. I cannot answer that question on the exam if you ask me that. Okay. 36 months is the lease. That's the term. He will make a down payment of $1,500. Calculate the total cost paid by Hugo at the end of the 36-month lease. You have this formula most likely. Total lease is going to be down plus payment times 1.12 times months, I think, plus mileage. Is that correct? You should have this on your study sheet. I hope so. So everything I box in here, you make sure you have that on your study sheet. So total lease, there's a down payment, right? I just go 1,500 plus, let's do the bracket part. Payment, 384, correct? Would you multiply this by 1.12? Yes or no? No, because this thing has already taxes in it. This part is adding taxes to your payment, so please don't. All we do is 36, right? We multiply that payment by 36 and that's it. There's no mileage, correct? So I'm just going to put a 0 there. Okay, so 1,500 plus, go ahead. That's 13,831.20. Did we add any taxes to your down payment? No. And so that is important when you do leasing questions. Do not add the down payment. Do not add taxes to it. Okay. So if I could, I would go back and just cross this out, but then your formula is, right, it's going to be, you want to have that just in case you don't have the taxes included. 2 marks. There we go. You would have received 1 mark for this step, and then 1 more mark for adding the down payment once you figured that out. So that's where your 2 marks come from. Question 19. Describe 2 factors. It says describe. Okay, so you have to be a bit more specific than just a word. 2 factors other than make, model, and year of the vehicle that can affect the cost of your car insurance. What do you think that would be? The car doesn't matter, right? Make, model. What else would affect your car insurance? Driving record, yes. Driving record. Merits or demerits. Yes, for sure. What else? Location. Yes. Where you drive. Where you drive. Location. I gave you a bunch. I gave you a bunch, so you just have to have some of those ready to go. Driving record, where you live. What else did I give you? The use, yeah, type of coverage or use. Okay, is it all purpose? Oh yeah, let's talk about these ones because they have asked for them. All purpose, leisure or pleasure, and is it layup? Thank you. Can't drive. You cannot drive under layup. Limited kilometers. Sorry, what does it say? It doesn't even spell limited. But limit on kilometers. Pleasure, right? You can only drive certain amount of kilometers, and you can't drive every day. You cannot, for sure, not drive to work. Those are the 3 types, yes. Type of coverage. JC, do you have one more for me or no? That's it? Okay. Good enough. You remember your deductible? The amount, right? The amount. So where do you pay more? On a lower deductible or on a higher deductible? Your premium is going to go down if you have a higher deductible. So it's counterintuitive. Because if your deductible is higher, you're less likely to make a claim. Okay. See, we talked about insurance now. Next. Don't confuse this one with home insurance. Because I've had like whether or not you're a smoker. It doesn't really matter with car insurance, it doesn't. Home insurance, it does. Okay, so watch out for that. Question 20, 2 marks. 1 and 1. Jose and Shurhil went on a road trip and recorded the following information. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's distance driven, amount of gas used, and how much they spent. What does it say here? Calculate. So it's gonna be more than just grabbing a number. The fuel economy for the trip. You know what the formula is for this one? It looks like this. Fuel economy is distance. No. Liters. You know how I caught it? What's on top? Liters and then kilometers, correct? That's how I caught it. Okay. Liters, I'm freestyling so that I kind of know how you feel. Okay. Distance times 100. That is the formula you would have on your It's even on the formula sheet, this one. So fuel economy for the trip, which one would we use? What distance? We would use this one, right? This is the entire trip. So 3,400 kilometers, and this is the amount of liters. And we multiply that by 100. Let's see what we get. 30 divided by 3,400 times 100. That's 3 point. Can that be? That's super low. It is right though. I'm looking at my key here. So it does say stated in that. And by the way, every time you use this formula, that's how we state. These are like our units that go with that. So that is the fuel economy for the entire trip. Calculate the cost of gas per liter for the trip. How would you do this one? Stay with me, stay with me. How would you do this one? Use your fuel economy for this one. Use fuel economy. Okay? So what we say is that if it takes us 3.82 liters, whatever you got here, to drive 100 kilometers. No, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Calculate the cost of gas per liter of the trip. We already know how much we spend on gas and we have the number of liters. So never mind this. We're going to go, if it took us $102.5 to drive 100 to use 130 liters, we're going to ask ourselves, what is the amount for just 1 liter? This is probably a longer way of doing it, but I hope it makes sense. This is your unknown. So you go over here, cross multiply, then divide. So it's 1 times 102.50 divided by 130, and that gives you 79 cents per liter. I'll say this on the exam. It doesn't matter how fancy your work is, as long as you show me some sort of work. If you would have done this anyways yourselves, like I'll just take the price divided by how many liters. Here we go. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Next. Hopefully this shows up yet though. What I wanted to do here, it's a different scenario. 21, and then we're doing trig. Elise is taking her car in for servicing. She needs the oil change and air filter replaced. The cost of labor is $95 per hour. The following table shows the details of the servicing. So oil and filter, cost of parts, labor and hours required. Okay. So we're going to do this, parts and labor. I have one like this on your formula. It's parts and labor. So we're just going to go $50 for the oil and the filter, plus we worked, right? We were charged half an hour, and the rate is $95 per hour. So basically, we're going to pay half of 95 for labor. So this is labor. This is the part. Okay, parts and labor added up like that. So we get 50 plus 47.50. So when you add those up, you get, does it say after tax? Yeah, it does. So we're going to add this up, 97.50. You get 1 mark for this part. What are taxes on parts and labor? Anybody remember? Look at your formula for used vehicle. It's like a long thing at the end. It says 12%, doesn't it? 1.12. So that's what we're going to do. Were you going to say that, Elliot? Sorry, I didn't see your hand on time. So that is, I have to redo it because minus 13% on my key. 109. What's wrong with this answer? can't have, it has to have a zero here. Yeah. Especially if it's dollars. If it's not dollars, we actually don't care. I would just do it anyway. Okay. That concludes vehicle finance. I know I'm pushing a little bit, but I want to try to get through this. Okay, so bear with me. Do you need a break? 2 minutes. And we'll do trig for now. Anyways, geometry and trigonometry, do you see how they put these together? Because they are very much related. You've seen me review a lot. I think trig is probably one of the best ways to score a lot of marks, knowing what you're doing for the most part, right? Because you know your formula. The diagram always trumps everything else you're thinking of. Just look at your diagram. Because sometimes the word problem throws students off. Just look at your diagram. They told us they're always going to provide a diagram. Okay, so George needs to build walls to support his garden. The dimensions are indicated. Determine the measure of angle A. Look at how many marks you get, folks. 3 marks for this question. I think it's quite a bit. What scenario is this? Do you have a pair? No. Side, 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 right? You know you're going to need to use cosine. Which formula though? It's going to be, you want this angle right here. It's called A coincidentally, so we're going to go cosine of A. You put your line down. Which side are you going to have here? This is crucial. You're going to have 18, right? The one that's across the angle you want. So you make sure you square it. Then you go 12 squared plus 19 squared. And at the bottom, it's 2 times 12 times 19. Make sure the 18, this number doesn't show up anywhere else. Okay, you get already, I think at this point you would get 1 for cosine for sure. Just picking cosine law, you get 1 mark. So 12 squared plus 19 squared minus 18 squared. That's 181. 2 times 12 times 19 is 456. Dividing those two, you get 0.396 something. If this number doesn't start with a 0, something is wrong. You're going to get an error. Negatives are fine, but if this is 1 something, you're in trouble. What's your last step here, guys? Second function cos inverse. Yes. Please don't take the root of this. I can see why you want to take the root because you see a bunch of squares here, but it's inverse cosine, right? So it's, and also don't go inverse cosine of sine. Sometimes inverse cosine of sine, sorry. Inverse sine, because that's also wrong, obviously. So hold on, I just don't clear your screen, just leave it. Go shift cos equals 66.61. Does that make sense? I think so because the longest side is 19. This could have been obtuse here, but this one we're fairly certain we'll get. So 3 marks. Moving on. Hope you liked it. Next one. 1 mark only. Multiple choice. Which one of these are good? Okay. This is the art of multiple choice, guys. You have to rule out. Rule out. So it says identify which of the following is true. So there's only one true statement here. Let's investigate. Sine 8 over 48. Is that happening in this diagram? You're following up here? What's across from angle 8? 7.3. So we're expecting a 7.3 there, correct? So that one is out. Sine A over 50.6. That also doesn't pan out. That's gone. So it's one of these two. So it's cosine law. Which one can you see here? I would always tell you this, okay, folks? You're listening? This angle is always across from which side? This one. So you're looking specifically what's happening there. So across from the 8, you've got 7.3, correct? So this is the only one that has that. This is the only one. If you write this out, so what did they do here? They wrote out the entire formula with everything known. So you actually have to write D here to make sure you get this right. 1 mark for that. This one is also wrong, okay? Because you don't have 8 across from 50.6. Keep going. Just stay with me, okay? You're gonna be on your own soon. 4 marks for this one. What's up with that? Well, it's gonna be more than just straight sine law or cosine law. Most likely find an angle. So let's read this. Margot's building a model airplane. The measure of angle BAC is 82 degrees. They are nice enough to tell us that, right? BAC, it's that angle up there. We got that. BD, which is a segment, it's a stretch, is 25.69. BD is from here to here. We've got that as well. It's in the diagram. ABD is 35 degrees. So ABD is 35 right there. So all the information is actually on the diagram. Calculate the length of the front edge of the wing AB. So they want this one right here. Can I ask you to make a diagram when it's that busy? So I'm just gonna go like this, like this. Okay, what can we transfer? The 2569, the 35, the front edge. This is what they want. So I'm gonna call that X. What's this angle right here? 82 divided by 2. Yes. I'm going to go 82 divided by 2, which is 41 degrees. So that is where the extra mark lies, guys. It's 1 mark for that step. Why can you split this in half? Because this is isosceles, right? These two are the same. That's why you can split that angle in half. Can I do anything here? Sine law, right? Mr. Dirksen, sine law, are you sure? Yeah, look. You've got this angle across from this side. You've got a pair. Okay, that's a pair. So sine law. So let's set it up here. I'm going to go sine of 41 degrees over 2569 is equal to, what do we put here? Sine of something over x. What angle is across from x? I don't know right now, but how many angles do I know? I know 2. So should we call this, I'm going to call this angle A. So angle A is 180 minus 35 minus 41. That's 104. So that's the angle that I'm going to use here. So cross multiply and divide. 25.69 times sine of 104 divided by sine of 41. $37.99 according to this. And we are in centimeters. So there we go. So a little bit more work than the previous question, or the one we had to solve for. but always indicate clearly what your final answer is. Okay? Just gonna pause here real quick. Let's keep going. Wheelchair ramp. Identify which of the following terms describe this triangle. Is it an equilateral? Is it isosceles? We have no idea. There's no markings that tell us two are the same. Is it obtuse? Is it right? Yes, I know that because of this. That's it. Okay. Some are just to the point. You just have to figure it out. Don't spend too much time on it. Next, question 26, but 2 marks. Given the following regular polygon, what does regular mean, folks? All sides, you remember this one, are congruent. All angles are congruent as well. That's what regular means. Calculate or illustrate the total number of diagonals that can be drawn. If illustrating, clearly state the total number of diagonals. So we're going to figure that out. Which formula am I going to use for this one? D is equal to n times n minus 3 divided by 2. What's n in this case? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. So we just go. Please don't rush on this one because if you get it wrong, we can't give you too many marks. So 6 times 6 minus 3 is just 3, correct? Divided by 2. Now you go 6 times 3 is 18. Divided by 2 is 9. 9 diagonals can be drawn. Don't bother drawing it. I would strongly go against drawing it because if you're wrong, that's it. You don't get anything. So 9, keep going. Justify why the following statement is false. If a quadrilateral has one pair of parallel sides and one pair of congruent sides, then there must be a parallelogram. Why is it false, guys? It's telling you that it's false. I will use this one. That's just me. This is a, what do you call it? Trapezoid. If these two sides are the same, right? The one pair of parallel sides is true, and one pair of congruent sides is also true. This is not what we call a parallelogram. Parallelogram needs to look like this, where you have these two parallel to each other. 2 pairs and 2 pairs. As well as these two sides are the same, these two sides are the same. So you can say an isosceles trapezoid meets the criteria, comma, but it is not a parallelogram. So try to think of an instance where it's not true. Okay? You could also say, oh no, kite wouldn't work because kite doesn't have a pair of parallel sides. You're basically left with trapezoid unless you try. If you can prove me wrong, I think this is your only option here. An isosceles trapezoid meets the criteria, like these two things, but it is not a parallelogram. I've used a diagram. I've actually written about it. So there we go. We're good? Calculate how many sides a regular polygon has if the sum of interior angles is 1980. 2 marks. What is this one asking for? It's giving you the sum. We call this backwards. Okay, so sum is 1980. So we use this formula. Sum is n minus 2 times 180. I've given you several of these to try on that take-home quiz. So we know this is 1980. So we're just going to go n minus 2 times 180. What do we do first? This one is probably even worth having on your study sheet. The first thing we do is divide by 180. That's what I do. That's not the only way of doing this, by the way. But I do that first. So then 1980 divided by 180, that's 11. You cannot get decimals here. If you get decimals, you're in trouble. That leaves you with n minus 2 like that, which means we have to add 2 to both sides. If you just guess, you're not going to get marks. I'm telling you already. You're going to have to show this work. That's what they're after. 13 sides. You can guess and check to see what it's supposed to be, but then you actually have to like show the work that led you to it. Let's keep going. Precision measurement, your favorite. I was waiting for this already. Okay. Do you remember what precision and all that is? All right. We need a refresher. Is there a blank page here? Right next to it. Let's go to question 30 at the bottom here. The precision is the smallest increment of a device. The smallest increment of the measuring device. And so I'm going to give you 3 examples. Copy this, please. Let's make 3 marks and then we'll make smaller ones yet. If this is 100, and this is 200, and this is 300, what would be the precision of this thing? What's the smallest that you can tell that it's going up by? 50? Does that make sense? 100, 150. So it's going up by 50 every time. So the precision is 50 mLs. Or I could give you this. I could give you a measurement. 19.125 of an inch. Let's not go or. Let's just break this down. Yeah, the precision is actually found right here. This is telling you, if you have this number, that this device is capable of going up by 0.001 inch every single time. So this would be 0.001 inches. That's your precision. What was the other one? Oh yeah. Bucket has markings of a quarter liter. What if you ever had something weird like that? The bucket has markings on the side of a quarter liter. Guess what? The precision is a quarter of a liter. You can also write it like this. No problem. What's uncertainty? Half of the precision. What was the other one? Margin of error. It's also known as the margin of error. How much your measurement can possibly be off by. So if you want your uncertainty, you just go precision divided by 2. What's my uncertainty for the first one? 25. What's my uncertainty for this one? Yes, you just divide that in half, right? So to get that, all we do is divide it in half. All we did here is divide it in half. So once you have your precision, you can find your uncertainty. What's the uncertainty for this one? Use your calculator, okay? Like if you're not sure, just use your calculator, but it is 1.25 liters. Okay, so every time you have a measurement, these two you should be able to extract from it. Good. Um, yeah, let's talk about accuracy later. It's coming soon up there, but I'm gonna go back a little bit here. It says here, explain. So it means more than just circling something or saying this is it. Explain which of the following thermometers is more precise. 1 mark. 1 mark. You can go with the negatives, but look at this here. What is this going up by from one marking to the other? It's going up by 2, isn't it? So the precision of this thermometer is 2 degrees Celsius. Whereas the precision of this one, what is this going up by? 1 at a time, right? So you're going up by 1, by 1, by 1. So it's just plus 1. So your precision here is 1 degree Celsius. Which one is more precise? B is more precise. More precise because it has smaller increments, or precision is smaller. Precision is smaller. Oh, I forgot to release my wasp. Anyways, tomorrow. I'll drive by Birds Hill. I don't know. All right. 30. That's it. Right? Precision of 1 second. Okay. All right. Question 30. Choose the letter that best completes the sentence below. How close a measurement is to the true value refers to. Which one of these four would you pick? How about which one is it not? It's not uncertainty, it's not precision, it's not tolerance, it's accuracy. Okay, accuracy. That is exactly what this definition is. How can you affect accuracy? Can be affected by damaged device or improper use. When you use these, please don't state them the way I gave them to you. It's like, oh, because the device is damaged. You have to be specific. Oh, because that thing is warped or bent or cracked, or the person didn't, when it's the measuring cup, it didn't make sure it was dry. You name it. Be specific to the situation. So B is the right answer here. Let's keep going. Let's try to get done with tolerance at least. And what I might do is I might stay after. Once you leave, I'll just finish this booklet, and then you do the rest on your own. We consider this done. Question 31. Jordana is having a ring made by a jeweler. Her ring size, the weight is 4.86 grams. Calculate the uncertainty of the weight of the ring. Do not round your answer. Hey, we just did this. How do you get your uncertainty? What do you need first? You need the precision first. Then you can get the uncertainty. So I find it unfair that this is just worth 1 mark, but what's the precision here? 0.01 of a gram. It's literally that second position here gets a 1. Uncertainty is 0.01 divided by 2. That's it. You got 1 mark. If you have that, you get 1 mark. Moving on. Can I say something here? Off on a tangent. Sometimes they'll say state measurement plus or minus uncertainty. Sometimes the province does this one. All you would have to do is 4.86 grams plus or minus whatever your uncertainty is that you just got. And what does that tell us? When you see this measurement, what do you think is happening here? It's saying that there could be more or there could be less, correct? Than the 4.86, which gives me the next point. To get the max, we go 4.86 plus 0.005. To get the min, it's 4.86 minus 0.005. Let's see if I can do this without a calculator. I got this. There we go. This one, 4.855. So out of this question, I made like a bunch of questions out of it, right? It's such a waste of space, but it is what it is. We can use it to review other things. So this is the measurement plus or minus the uncertainty. From that, they can ask you, hey, what's the greatest mass possible for that ring? What's the smallest possible mass for the ring? Okay. You got this. Good? 32. John Lee's at vet. Her thermometer indicated that a dog's temperature should be 38.6 degrees Celsius. State the precision of the thermometer used. This one is easier, right? 38.6 degrees Celsius. The precision is right here. It's 1 decimal one decimal place, right? So it's 0.1 degrees Celsius. That's it. You're good to go. 1 mark. Let's move on. Here it is. 1 mark again. Mario's installing a subfloor. The measurements of the sheet of plywood is 225 centimeters long using the tape measure below. Calculate the minimum possible length of that sheet of plywood. I'm going to say this. Think of it this way. That 225 centimeters is plus or minus some sort of uncertainty. Okay? Before we go, what's the precision of this measuring tape? 1 centimeter, correct? You're all checking out already. Okay. Uncertainty is 0.5 centimeters. So this uncertainty is what you would state here in your measurement. Okay, so we had to find the precision based on this diagram. Then we figured out our uncertainty. Once we had that, we plugged this in there. We're still not done. I don't think this is a fair, just to give 1 mark. What's the minimum possible length of this plywood? We're going to figure it out right here. The minimum is 225 minus 0.5. So that's 224.5 centimeters. That's the shortest possible length based on this scenario that you can have there. There's still quite a bit. We'll go through this through precision. Let's get it through precision. Next, 34. Choose the letter. The tolerance expression that allows for a maximum value greater than 16.5 is, this one doesn't allow greater than, this is the max min. Tolerance is where what's acceptable, right? This one doesn't allow past 16.5 because you get 16.5 and 15.5 with this measurement. This one here, technically your max is 16.5 and your min is 15.5 because you subtract 1 from it. So this is a no, this is a no, this is also a no. This one allows for a greater than 16.5. Okay, so answer A is the one. Keep going. Almost there, almost there. Omar is cutting lenses for a pair of glasses. In order for the lenses to fit, the lenses must have a minimum thickness and a maximum thickness. State the measurement in this form. Okay, you need to remember this. There is a max, there's a min, there is tolerance, and there's nominal. Every single time. Remember that checklist for tolerance? Because once you have these 4, you can write it in any format you would like. The maximum is given to us is 2.022. The minimum is also given to us. What's the tolerance, folks? Subtract these two. Right? Tolerance is max minus min. What is that? This is the tolerance, 0.126. And what's the nominal, folks, in this scenario? It's divided by 2. It's min plus max divided by 2. Yes. When it's like this, when you don't know what the target is, then you just figure it out. You add it up, divide it by 2. And so that would be 2.022 plus 1.896. That's 3.918 divided by 2. It's 1.959. This is the nominal. That's what we're after. Now we're ready to state our answer. 1.959. Slap on units everywhere. Plus or minus. No, sorry, it doesn't want it like that. The nominal was not important here, folks, but we did it anyways. It says it calls for maximum, so that is first. Plus 0, just follow this format. Minus the tolerance. The tolerance is 0.126 millimeters. I kind of got it wrong there. I was thinking of the other one where it's nominal plus or minus half of the tolerance. That's not the one they wanted. They wanted this format. One more. Can you handle one more? Iron needs to be heated to the temperature between 230 and 280. State the measurement in this form. Nominal plus or minus half the tolerance. This is the one I was thinking of earlier. Do your checklist. Max, min. Tolerance, nominal. I already know the max is 280. The min is 230. Tolerance is 280 minus 230, which is 50. Nominal is just 280 plus 230. Add it up, divide it by 2. Any help on that one? 510 divided by 2. Make sure you do that. 510 divided by 2. 255. That's what we assume as our nominal. So now we can write it. Once we have this inventory, it's 255 degrees Fahrenheit plus or minus half of whatever the tolerance is. Boom. We're done. We're done with tolerance. Thank you for tolerating me. All right, let's continue with statistics. So this question we finished, 255 plus or minus half of the tolerance. Maybe I will add is the tolerance is the range of acceptable measurements. Measurements. Can't see that. So that the part can still be used for its intended purpose. All right, let's keep going. Stats. Mark must write an entrance exam to enter university. He must receive a minimum grade of 75% to be accepted. Last year, his mark was in the 70th percentile. He was not accepted. This year, his mark is in the 80th percentile. Justify why it cannot be determined if Mark will be accepted into the university this year. So there are two things happening here. There is the actual score, and there is the ranking. Okay, those are the two things that are happening here. So when you have a 75% score last year, right, that meant you were placed in the 70th percentile. So that means that 70% of students scored less than this. So this is just comparing your score to everybody else. It doesn't necessarily mean that you, right? It doesn't mean that you scored 70% or anything like that. So we cannot use the percentile ranking in the year following because all of a sudden he is in the 80th percentile. And remember, now everybody wrote a new test, a new exam. And so we actually have no idea what the test score is that goes with it. We just know that 80% of students scored less than him on the second year. Okay? An 80th percentile indicates that 80% of students scored less than Mark. That's all we know. We just know the percentage that scored less. But it could be that he got 50% on the test, on the actual test, and he could still be in the 80th percentile, meaning that 80% of the students failed, right? That's still possible. Okay? It does not tell us what the actual score was. That's the bottom line here. Um, so, by the way, sorry, I'm reading this again. He must receive a minimum grade of 75%. We actually don't know. This is what you need. So actually, we actually don't know. We just know that the first year is in the 70th percentile. What we do know for sure is that we're in the percentile ranking. So 70% scored below him. The next year, 80% scored below him. That is still a possibility, but it doesn't give us any indication as to what the actual score was. It just ranks your score compared to everybody else. That's the bottom line there. Let's keep going. 38. So we've got credit card scores to decide whether people qualify for a loan. There are a list of credit scores for applying for a loan. Calculate the percentile rank for a credit score of 800. Okay, so remember, percentile rank is B over N times 100, where B is the, right, represents in this case a number of scores below the one we're indicated or the indicated, and N is the total. Okay, so that's what we do know. So the percentile rank, B, 800 is right here. I noticed that this is arranged in ascending order. So 800 is right here. So that means that all of these scores here and anything below 800 would be my B. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 is 10. That'd be 11. So we've got 11 over 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 20 total. So we have 11 over 20 times 100. And I don't know if you remember that I gave you a little note. No decimals, no percent symbol. Okay, that you should add to your study sheet. It doesn't say it on the formula sheet. That's why I want you to have this on your study sheet. So 11 divided by 20 times 100. In this case, it is exactly 55. So you leave it like that, or you say 55%. So within this context, I like to say that 55% of people have a score of less than 800. That's what this means. Okay, let's keep going. Almost there. 39. So paintings were submitted to an art show. The table below shows the points he received and the weight for each category. Calculate the final score for Rejan's painting using a weighted mean. So both of these are actually percentages. If you were in my class, I would tell you, hey, make sure you check to see which one adds up to 100, because if you do, you need to divide your final answer by 100. This one, let's check here, 35 and 40, that's 75 plus 25, that is 100%. Because I always talked about MAD, right? We multiply, we add, and then we divide. I actually shouldn't be using up this space here because I'm going to use it for when I solve it. So MAD, right? Weighted mean. If they mention it for sure, sometimes they won't. But there we go. So we know we need to divide by 100 because of this. So multiply, by that I mean you multiply between columns here, among them. So you just, without converting or doing anything, you just go 92 divided by 35 times 35 is 3220. 87 times 40 is 3480. And then 77 times 25 is 1925. Okay, so that's the multiplying part. Now we're going to add it. So our mean is going to be 3220, 3480, 1925. And guess what? Our last step is dividing, and we're going to divide by 100. So let's add that up. It's 86, 25 divided by 100. So that would be 86.25%. And in doubt, just round to 2 decimals, and you're good to go. Next, question 40. A store sells shoes. Size is 7 to 12. The following table shows the sales for the last month. You've got your size number and how many you sold of each size, right? Choose a letter that best completes the sentence below. The measure of central tendency that represents the most popular shoe size is the mode. Which, if they asked you for, the mode would be size 10. Size 10 is the mode. Okay. Sold 43 pairs. That's just an aside. Almost done. 2 questions left. We've got daily temperatures for Thompson in 1 week. And here they are. Calculate the mean temperature for the week. So mean, you just go 17 plus 3.4. And there you have to be careful. Plus minus 5.9 plus 0.1 plus 1.8 plus 7.1 plus 2.6. Notice that I'm dropping the zeros at the end because they are not needed. Divided by, that's 7 days here. And now you want to be careful with how you enter this. But if you have a decent calculator, you should be just fine. So 1.7 plus 3.4. You can go plus bracket minus 5.9 if you want, plus 0.1, plus 1.8, plus 7.1, oops, 2.6. That's 10.8. If I add up all those divided by 7, that's 1.54 degrees Celsius. That's my average temperature for the 7 days. Next, calculate the trimmed mean temperature for the same week by removing the highest and the lowest temperatures. So this is my trimmed mean. So what I will do is I will take the 10.8 and I will subtract. Oh, here you have to be careful. You're going to subtract, or how about, I'll do it a different way. I was going to subtract the 2 that I'm removing, but instead, this is going to be the safest way to do it. I'm going to go up here. This is my lowest temperature. And my highest temperature is 710. So now I will just go 1.7 plus 3.4 plus 0.1 plus 1.8 plus 2.6. Okay, so you're omitting the lowest and the highest. They asked you for it, and you're only left with 5, right? So this would be 1.92 degrees Celsius. I should probably figure out this first. That's 9.6. There we go. That's my final answer. That's a trimmed mean. And why do we perform the trimmed mean? To remove bias. Removes outliers, outliers, and therefore bias. It's more accurate. Okay. Next. City works at Cycle Sports. During the last 12 years of the month, 12 days of the month, the store sold the following number of bikes. Calculate the median, the mode. So let's figure out the mode first. I see 32 here, 32 there. So I think, oh, I see 319. So I'm going to box that in differently. There are 319s there, and I think that is the most popular number. So 19 bikes is going to be, so that's one mark right there. The median, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's even, so you got to watch out. You got to range it first. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go through the, so I'm going to go 16. Next I have 19s, right? So I have 3 of them. 19, 19, 19 gone. Then I have 20. Then I have 23, 25, 27, 33, and 35. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I still have, oh, there should be 12. So what did I miss here? 25, 27. Oh, I missed the 32s. Yeah. Okay. 32, 32. And then I have 33, 35. There we go. Now we have 12. So careful. So when it's even, maybe just try to find the two. Like if you consider these two here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 on either side. So these two are going to give me my median. So I got to go 23 plus 25 divided by 2. Just make sure you do this first. And that gives you 24. Yeah. Let me just check here if I got that right. Yeah. So 24, just make sure you enter it here. 24 is your median sales number of bikes that have been sold. And that's it. That's all. You made it.